It is Monday. It is 9 o'clock, and as usual, I'm having some some issues with both internet and other things on a Monday live stream. But I guess that's the way it's supposed to be. So we'll see how this turns out and how it works, and if everything is like it's supposed to be. Let me know in the chat. StreamYard has given me some errors on the internet connection here, um, which has strangely enough been fine until I started. So I guess Mondays at 9 is not a good time to start streaming. But anyway, William's in the stream. So welcome, William. See, that was the message I was supposed to show. And William says that I am here. So that's good. We'll just see how this happens, and if the quality is good enough to do what I'm supposed to do. It's been a long weekend. It has been a field day weekend. Went out with three other guys in the woods, set up some tents, and did field day on Saturday from 1 UTC on Saturday until 1 UTC on or 1300 UTC more correctly on Saturday until 1300 UTC on Sunday. And Andy's in the chat. Welcome, Andy. And we got someone from the other side of the world, and I guess it's tomorrow morning down under in Kiwi land there. Welcome, Dusty. Um, so went out and did field day, and probably the worst band conditions I've ever experienced. The A index yesterday was 65. The bands were dead. So total number of QSOs on the HF bands for the the four of us was about 160 QSOs on the HF bands, and we did have some on 6 meters as well, but I don't have the log ready for that yet. There might be a field day video coming out. There might not. I'm not sure how my video material is for that. Stuart's in the chat. You did field day as well, didn't you, Stuart? We got a new one here, Planky79. Welcome. So we'll see how the technical issues work today. I did in another stream try to do JS8Call on Linux with the QDX, and in pretty much the worst band conditions ever. I'm going to try that again, and there might be a little bit of flickering here from the window. Not really sure what's happening here on the remote software I'm using. I'm using No Machine because I couldn't get VNC to work on here. So, and Planky79 is actually it's actually Anton. And Stuart says field day was a washout. Did one session as Pod. I got about 60. Oh, that's good. We were four operators that managed to get 160 in 24 hours. I've never seen the bands as dead as they've been. But we got my Andy's Ham Radio Linux up and running here. And let's see here. I'm just going to start JS8Call. I do have the QDX hooked up, but I am cheating a little bit. I got a little bit of an amplifier here on the QDX. So I'll be going out with about 30 watts, which is not necessarily great, but it's better than the 2.5 watts I managed to get out of my QDX usually. I'm not really sure why I'm only getting about 2.5 watts out of the QDX. But as you can see, it's working, and we're receiving some signals. And Stuart says, can't imagine it being a lot tougher for you being a little bit further north. Yeah, conditions have been terrible. Pat's in the channel. Welcome. Happy to see Pat was here last week, but I'm happy to see new guys in the chat. I guess that means my channel is growing. Pat's got a configure JS8Call with this G90. I don't know, Pat, if you saw Steve temporarily offline's video about an easier way with a lot less cabling to get the G90 on Digimodes. Still don't think it's an easy radio to do digital with, but it's easier. So I'm on 20 here as far as I think now. Let's at least click 20 here. Not really sure what I think of the QDX, except for it being a small and cute radio. As for practical use, SWR meter, there's nothing except for that little red LED. And if you see some bright flashes on my face, it's just that you can see it on the stream, but I can see it on my screen. The remote window to my Linux laptop is somehow flickering when I share it in StreamYard here, which is the software I use to stream with. But let's do a heartbeat on 20 here and see how conditions are on 20 first. I don't really use JS8Call much. So it's just a way of doing an experiment, and I could have done this on the Windows machine I use for streaming, but I figured this is a portable radio, so I'll use it for that. And we got some heartbeat replies here from the UK and from Switzerland. And Carl has also grown since my last broadcast, so I have a larger audience this week. Thank you. So, but yeah, I'm happy to see the channel growing, and I know I haven't been posting much videos lately since I had COVID, and it's just been busy catching up after COVID and getting ready for field day actually. And Andy says try 80 meters. There's a RSGB competition on. Yeah, we could do. No, actually, we can't do 80 because I don't have 80 on the antenna I've hooked up on the QDX. So we're stuck with 40 and 20 today. I don't know how many of you guys that might be on JS8 now, but let's try calling CQ and see what happens. See if we can get it to work. And the little red LED is blinking, which is the only indication you get for the radio transmitting. And I should have done this professionally and put a camera on the amplifier and the QDX. But well, I got home from work, helped my kids with homework, and started streaming. So I haven't really gotten that far yet. But we'll see what happens. I got kind of mixed feelings on JS8Call because I haven't really had that many QSOs on it. It is a promising piece of software and a promising digimode, but seems to never be people on when I stream. But it would probably be good to have it on field day though, because we managed about 60 sideband QSOs on field day, and band conditions were so poor that we mostly did FD8, and we could have done with a lot simpler setup than we had actually. I had my 7300 with me out in the woods, and we also had 7100, 7610, and 705, and we had a 756 as well, but couldn't get that to work properly. So we managed to get by pretty good until the bands crashed on Saturday afternoon. Our 6-meter guy, though, he had a couple of stacked HB9 CV beams, and he managed to get a couple of 6-meter QSOs, which actually in Norway gives you 1 point per kilometer and 500 points per grid square. So hopefully he'll rack up about as many points as the three of us HF guys did. And there is not much going on here on 20. Just checking my amplifier to see if the bandpass filter is 420, and it is. But field day is nevertheless, even if the band conditions are poor, it is a blast because you meet up with people that are pretty much have the same interest as you do, and that helps a lot. And if you want to see a part of the setup, you could check out the yesterday or Saturday's Coffee and Ham Radios. I was on for about 10 minutes in the start of that stream, presenting my field day setup. And William says nothing there except for a bland waterfall. So it's pretty much the same as here. Pat did his first soda activation on Friday. Yeah. You're posting a video about that, Pat, aren't you? It popped up in my YouTube feed. I haven't seen it yet, but I will. And I find soda a lot of fun because you gotta optimize your equipment. So I guess the waterfall is as planned as me for everyone. So let's try 40 and see what happens. Pat's soda video comes out tomorrow night. And I guess night is relative, considering that we're in different time zones. But I guess it's tomorrow night, American East Coast time, probably. Bird's got a thunderstorm above. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe this will be the first Monday live stream without any QSOs. There is something happening here. Someone's sending a heartbeat on 40. So let's see if it decodes. And the video will be out about midnight European time. So I guess I won't see it then though. But I'll make sure I'll catch up on it. So what did you think about soda though, Pat? Is it as fun as urban POTA in the DC area? I find, as I said, I find soda really, really exciting because you have to optimize your equipment. At least if you're hiking, you have to optimize it both for weight and portability. And at least here, I get a lot more replies on soda than I do on POTA. Bert had his first field day. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, field day, as I said earlier, it is a lot of fun. And of course, I'm not going out now because the amplifier is set for 20 meters. So I'm just dissipating some heat into the. Actually, I got out. Okay, I'm getting out there, so that's good. That doesn't necessarily translate to any QSOs, but I'll call CQ and see what happens. So I'm going out with actually about 40 watts here. So that's not too bad on JS8Call, I think. So let's just see what happens. I'm also releasing 2 more videos about the Retivis RT85 pretty soon. I've done testing it, and well, this is going to be a little bit of a spoiler, but it had it on a spectrum analyzer and used Yaesu FT2D as a reference, and the Retivis radio is just as clean. And Pat says that he thinks soda is more popular in Europe. Yeah, I would guess so. And the thing is, though, Parks on the Air or POTA is pretty new in Europe. So soda's been around way longer, which makes it more popular. It doesn't matter how little effect I have, or how little power I use, I always get out on soda. While parks in the air can sometimes be a struggle. But that'll improve as soon as the parks in the air have come to Sweden as well. Let's see here. I'm getting actually two replies here. Let's start with Stuart then, and we'll do you afterwards. Afterwards, Anton. We always manage to get at least one QSO on these streams. See if I can hit this. I actually can, and it starts sending straight away. So you're +6 here, Stuart, which is good. William has 2 soda hills within 5 miles. I'm not that lucky. I got a couple of soda summits around. They're not really any high ones. They're 1-pointers. I live in the flat part of Norway. Not as flat as as Bert says that Belgium is, but it is flat. And I grew up on the west coast of Norway, where there are fjords and high mountains. So, but I'm no stranger to climbing a small hill and calling that a summit. And as far as I know, though, Klaus, there are soda summits in Belgium. Did you get my reply there, Stuart? Let's see. Yeah, I got it there. Yeah. Let's see here. Thanks, Stuart. This works fine. And yeah, Stuart hasn't used JS8Call in ages, and that's pretty much what I do. Though I find a strange digimode, or a digimode that's not that strange, and use it on live stream, just because I want to try them out, and I want to be sure to get some QSOs. And I guess you're thinking about Washington State there, Pat. And I think the topography in Washington State is pretty much like the west coast of Norway. I have a neighbor that's from Washington State's. Washington State. Sorry about that. It's been a long day and a long field day with not much sleep. But my neighbor also said that the topography is pretty much similar to the west coast of Norway. So let's see here. And I somehow managed to lose your reply here, Anton. So I think I got it here, though. So the moment I wrap up with Stuart here, I'll get back to you. And I really want to go out to operate more portable, and I really want to perhaps try to live stream portable, although that might require a lot more gear to carry, though. But we'll see. As I said, Parks on the Air has come to Sweden, and one of the parks is a marine national park that's just across the border from here, about 20 minutes drive. And that'll do good for salt water and a vertical, and perhaps I'll get lucky and get some real DX while operating POTA. And let's see here. I'll just log Stuart here like this. And let's find Anton here. There we go. Anton, your antenna is soon on its way. And I'll add a signal to noise ratio there and see what happens. And no worries, Anton. I don't get mad. If you don't get mad that I haven't gotten around to mailing your antenna yet, but I promise I'll get it done this week. I got a couple of antennas to send out, so I'll get yours in the same order, and you'll get to try a genuine LB0FI linked dipole when doing portable. And I actually had a LB0FI dipole up for field day, had a 80 meter antenna up, which I don't really sell, but I made an 80 meter and ended up not using it because the longer piece of coax that I brought was broken. So we ended up using a real soda beams antenna, a band hopper for 80. And antennas are kind of challenging on field day. We were talking that next year we really want to try to get some beams up, either a hex beam or some Moxons or something, just to give ourselves a little bit of an edge while operating. And I'm usually the less is more type while operating portable. But I really enjoyed doing the more is more route on this year's field day, especially since we managed to bring 400 watt radios, and if we only did QRP this year, we probably wouldn't have had much luck at all. And I actually did QRP on last year's field day. And I managed 38 QSOs in 24 hours. So we got a better score than last year, but I'm really gonna be surprised if we win. But at least I've proven that it's possible to use the QDX for JS8Call on Linux. And I guess I'm +3 here. Loud signal, yeah. That's the amplifier doing most of the work. Let's see if we can fire up PSK reporter here and see how that is. I'm just going to find a spare window here and see where we are spotted on JS8Call. So let's finish up the QSO. Good work with 5 watts. And I can't really type with a microphone in front of the keyboard either. And there is something with the keyboard translating to the Linux machine, not too good. I'm doing about 40 watts. And let's see if we can switch to a PSK reporter quick here and see where we are spotted. Let's see here. There we go. Let's see. So we got a couple of spots here. Not too good, but not too bad either. Let's zoom in a little bit and see. So it's pretty much around Europe here, and that's about as expected. Even though the sunspot number and the flux is high, but so is the K and A indexes as well. So So yeah, conditions aren't good. Bird asks which distro I'm using. I'm using Andy's Ham Radio Linux. I've done a couple of videos on that. It's not straightforward to set it up, but as long as you actually do what No Hams does and read the instructions, you should get it up and running pretty fast. Because it sets up by default with a root account, and there is a set password for that. So you got to figure out the password and then make another user account. But that works pretty well when you get it up and running. Bert said he had some problems regarding user accounts. Yeah, I did as well, but I actually sat down and read the manual, and that might for sometimes be a good idea though. So that usually helps a little bit. Let's get back to Anton said 7.3. This is me multitasking, so I'm going to log him here, and I'm going to share the Linux window again, like this. So let's see if we can get anyone not on stream and get them to subscribe to the channel. And on a side note, while I call CQ, I was gifted an antenna, a high gain 2 meter 5/8 antenna, old in box or old new stock or whatever you call it, and opened it up yesterday, and the antenna was nice. It was fun, but the really fun thing there was actually being able to get a copy of the Lincoln Star from Lincoln, Nebraska from March 29, 1988. So if anyone wants to know what the world was like in 1988, just let me know, and I'll do some pictures and post them on Twitter and Discord from that paper. And it was actually pretty much more fun than the antenna itself to find that old newspaper in there. I think you could get a 12-pack of soda in Lincoln, Nebraska for about $4 in 1988. So that is is actually it was fun. It was a piece of history, and there was a note in it where some Soviet spies were arrested in West Berlin, and that kind of shows that the world was a completely different place there. See, we got someone calling CQ here. I'll send a how copy to him while we're doing this. And Pat says that was before he was born. Yeah, I was 11 years old in 1988. William lived in 1988, king-size Mars bars and large cans of Coca-Cola. He also joined the army in 1988. Yeah, it didn't feel too long ago until recently. Neither did the 90s until I checked some pictures from the 90s, and they actually turned out to be a while ago. And I actually got a 9 Alpha 3 station, and that's Croatia, isn't it? I'll answer him since I didn't get a reply from the UK station there. See what happens. Stuart says 1988, good year on 11 meters. I bet. New Zealand, California, and Long Path in the mornings. I've never been an 11-meter guy, so yeah. But I guess that would be fun. And Bert says Twix was still called Raider I didn't know it was called radar anywhere else but Norway, but apparently it was. I remember going to the UK in 1988, summer of 1988, and discovering that the radar bars were called Twix. So, and I guess that creation station is replying to pretty much anyone out there. So that's usually my experience with JS8Call, though. It suddenly becomes really, really chaotic, and no one seems to do one QSO at the time, which is different. So, and William got to use them Klansman radios and getting paid for it. I guess that shows that it was a different time, though, because I don't really think you could call a radio a Klansman today and actually get by with it. And that's probably a good thing, though. So, Stuart asked, why is it so difficult for the world to standardize on the name of chocolate bars? Yeah. But they're not always, although they're similar, that they're not always the same. We have this chocolate here called Yup, and it's basically a Mars bar, but it's not quite. It's a little bit sweeter and a little bit better, but looks the same. And Anand says lot less electrosmog or QRM back then. That's probably one factor, though. But the other factor is that 1988 was, as far as I know, on the top of the solar cycle. William says that Snickers were called Marathon in 1988. Well, here they were called Snickers, though. And Stewart says it makes metric versus imperial seem straightforward. I have this strange, while speaking English, imperial measurements feels natural to me and logical. I can't use them in Norwegian, though. I am able to use metric and imperial in English, but in Norwegian, I'm only able to use metric. So don't know why that, or I know exactly why that is. As from while I lived in the United States and had to learn to use imperial. So and that's one of 3 countries still using imperial. The other ones are, in case you didn't know, Liberia and Myanmar. And I can understand why Liberia still uses imperial, though. And I guess in the UK, you use imperial measurements for a couple of things yet, such as speed limits and gasoline prices. Isn't that correct? To the UK guys in the chat. This is dead. Maybe we should try 20 again and see what happens. So how many centimeters are your TV? No, that's still in inches, though, and a boat is measured in feet. But actually, the box for my TV, which I threw away many years ago, shows the size in centimeters. So, but let's switch over to the 20-meter band and see how that works out. And I guess that would be in non-metric measurements. That would be the 60 feet band. So let's see what happens in the 60 feet band. Stuart says still use imperial for road distances, and most people know their weight in stone and height in feet and inches. I don't know stone, though, because the Americans don't use stone. And okay, I guess in Belgium you used to measure TVs in centimeters. In Norway, they've always been measured in inches, and boats has, as I said, always been measured in feet. And shipping containers, is also measured in feet. I'm just going to do a heartbeat first and see what happens. And this is the fun thing about my live streams, though. They tend to start on topic and then drift to something completely different and usually not ham radio related, such as measurements, which is kind of why I like live streaming. And But I guess band conditions are not as good as I hope they would be today. But they'll get there. We'll get to a point where 10 meters can be used with a clothes hanger, and you can work the world on 10 meters in a QRP rig. At least that's what I've heard from people who've been licensed longer than me. And it's technically ham radio. Jesus, yes, it is. It is, and especially when for me, when I view my YouTube statistics, about 1/3 of my viewers are from the United States. So I guess I got to use the non-metric measurements for you guys. And 20 seems to be really, really dead. And I don't have 30 on this antenna because the QDX is 80, 40, 30, and 20 radio. So I guess that's about what we managed to do QSO wise today. I'm gonna see if I can just quickly find a picture from our field day setup here and show you guys. Uh, let's just close down the Linux window, and I'm just gonna see if I can. I put some pictures on Facebook earlier, so let's see if we can get those up. And as you can at least somehow see what my setup was. Uh, while I look through my Facebook account here, and I share screen and Lincoln Star from 1988. I took some pictures of it, and as you can see, the Reagans leased a house in Bel Air. And the print is pretty good. You can see the color or the one color is still good. It's still blue. The rest of the paper is black and white. So let's see. The Reagans lease a house in Bel Air. And I guess that would be logical though, because this was after the Reagan presidency, actually. If I am no, it was at the end of the Reagan presidency. And you can see a 12 pack of Pepsi Slice or Mountain Dew was $2.49. And a pack of California ripe strawberries was 97 cents. You could get 5 loaves of bread for $1, or a 16 pack, 16 packs of dinner rolls for $1. It predicted an economic doom in 1989. And here's the article where the Europeans arrest 11 Soviet spies. And this is the antenna. I'm going to put that up and test it, actually, see if it's any better than my diamond antenna on 2 meters. It doesn't have 70 centimeters though, but I don't really use 70 centimeters anyway. But let's see if I can find the pictures from field day here. So let's see if I can. And William says that in 1988, the weekly shop bill came to 12 pounds. Yeah, but how much did you make in 1988 though? It's one thing that it was cheaper, but at least when I look at the statistics for Norway, we spend a lot less on of or in percentage wise of our paycheck for groceries now than we did in the 80s. Uh, let's see if I can get the here. So I got a QSO map here from the field day. William says that his pay from the military was 17 pounds per day. Yeah. And Stuart's got some rig prices for for the radios in 1988, and those were more expensive than today, actually. So I guess there's been a reduction in prices for amateur radio, at least if you count inflation into the picture. And as you can see, though, the QSO map here pretty much shows what we managed to work, which wasn't that much. It was Canary Islands, and that was pretty much our only DX station, as you can see. This is inside the tent after dark. So it's a typical field day setup. And this is yesterday morning before we gave up and packed everything down a couple hours before field day was done. And we got the solar data, and that doesn't really show up here too good. The Yaesu FT747 was 659 pounds. He thinks Walt has just bought one. Don't know if you're watching the chat today, Walt, but if you are, you're free to comment on that. So, but I guess yeah, rig prices have changed, and I noticed there is quite a delay to the stream today, which makes it hard to participate in the chat. So I'm gonna work on my internet issues, and my internet is wireless, so maybe the band conditions are also bad on the gigahertz bands. So we'll see. So I'm gonna wrap up now. I'm gonna say 7-3, and thanks to everyone for watching. Hopefully it has been an entertainable stream for you. It's been fun for me. And I'm open for suggestions for next week's stream. And I actually got an idea now. And what kind of rigs were available in the 80s and 90s, and how much were there? What do you think about that? Find some old rig pictures and prices and some ads, and see look at old radios and look at how the hobby has evolved. Would that be a good plan? Let's just see if we can make that happen. And apparently my preview window is not live, so I am not that far behind as I thought I was. Stuart says 7-3 Zotis Carl. Let's just see if I can get any replies regarding doing a show about older radios, though. William says the best radio he's ever had was the Yaesu VX2. Because I don't really know anything about older radios except for the ones I've found in junk boxes, because I'm a new ham. And Walt's here. He's going back and getting into old radios. So we'll do an old radio show next week. There is a couple of old radio videos on my on my channel already. I had an ICOM handy talkie that I couldn't really get to work the way I wanted it to, so didn't manage to fix that. But I got a couple of radios that I have fixed, and I got a couple of radios that works. I got a couple of Yaesu Olmo 2-meter radios from the 70s that both work. Don't really have them up at the moment, but they do work. And so that'll be fun. Let's find some old radios. Let's find some ads, and Walt confirms so. Let's just see if it pops up so I can show it on the screen here that he just bought a 10-Tech Scout 555 and a Yaesu FT74D7. So yeah, an old radio show would be fun. The sad thing about finding older radios, though, as at least 2-meter radios, is that you're not able to use them on repeaters anymore, but they're still good for simplex. But I'm going to say 7.3, and I'll be back next week for an old radio special. Let's find some vintage radios. Let's find some of my vintage radios. Show them off. Let's find some ads, some manuals, and see what radios were back in the day. And if any of you guys want to join the stream and show off your radios, send me a message on Twitter. The handle is LB0FI. Or just on any of the Discord servers where I am. And we'll work something out. So thank you for watching. 7.3.